boys and girls. We're going to do a little science today. Maybe you've looked out your window lately. Do you see the squirrels out there? They are busy scurrying all over the snow. They found nuts and seeds, and they've hidden it. They hide them away, maybe in their burrow, maybe in the ground. They know how to find food for winter. The other thing they know how to do is to stay warm. Squirrels' coats get a little bit thicker in the winter. Squirrels are animals that know how to adjust and live through a cold New Hampshire winter. Do you see any others? I do. I see birds sometimes. I've decided to keep my bird feeders filled all winter. I live a little bit up higher, so I don't have to worry about bears because I have a high deck, and the birds still come. Not all the birds. Some birds have flown south. They do not do well in the winter. They need to go where it's warmer. When something flies south or goes wherever it's warmer, we call that migrating. You know who else migrates? Whales. We can't see it happening, but they come up here in the warm weather, and when the ocean gets really cold, they will travel. They don't fly, they swim, but they will travel to where the waters are warmer. Some insects migrate, especially the monarch butterfly. We see them here in the summer. We don't see them in the winter, but that's not because, like some other insects that just die, the monarchs travel all the way south, sometimes all the way to Mexico, and they stay there for the winter. They migrate. Okay, so some animals adjust. They stay here and we see them. Some animals leave. They migrate to where it is warmer. And then there are animals that hibernate. They hibernate and they sleep all winter, but it's a different kind of sleep. Their bodies slow down. Their heart rate slows down. They're able to not eat for months and months. There are creatures like frogs that hibernate under the pond waters. Trying to think. There's also the hedgehog. You're going to hear a book about him today. Hedgehogs hibernate all winter. You don't see them around. Skunks. Have you seen a skunk lately? You'll probably start smelling them in the spring because they hibernate all winter. The animals that adjust, their fur gets much thicker. They know how to find food. So we're going to talk a lot about this over the next few weeks. But today you're going to do an activity in your science notebook. Well, we're going to do it first, then add it to our science notebook. You have a paper like this, little clip on it. I always save my clips because I can use them for lots of things. You have a little paper with some pictures of animals. Now, one of them is really hard to see in the bottom, and you can just skip that one if you like, but I'll tell you, it's a whale. So here we have the monarch butterfly. We have a mouse, a fox, a bear, a deer, a rabbit, a bird, a hedgehog, and a whale. You also have this paper. Now, I'm going to do it with you today because we haven't studied it enough for me to just let you go. So we will do this together. So you've got your paper. It says animals in winter. Hibernate, migrate, adjust. They're hard words, but if you look at the first letter, you know it's hibernate. What do you think that is? Migrate, and there's that funny A, adjust. All right, so I'm going to put it on my board. And you know what? I know it's hard to see, and it's definitely hard to read. So I'm going to put this first one here. I'm just going to make an H so that you will remember that's hibernate. This one is, what is it? Migrate. And this one is adjust. Very good. So with your little paper, it's hard for me to see what you see. All right, with your little paper and your scissors, I want you to find the picture of the bird. See the bird at the bottom? There it is. I got my thumb on it. And I'm going to carefully just cut out the bird. Boys and girls, you may have to stop this video every so often so you can catch up. So there's my bird. What do you think, it's so hard to see, the bird does in the winter? Do they hibernate? That means they sleep all winter. Do they migrate? That means they go away. Or do they adjust? It's kind of tricky because birds can do two things. Some birds migrate. They go where it's warmer. Some do stay around and adjust. I'm going to put my bird with a little glue into the box that says migrate, because a lot of birds migrate. You'll see ducks and geese migrating. A lot of our little snowbirds are at different places. So a lot of birds will migrate. Let's go on and cut out the hedgehog. Now, hedgehogs were something that always surprised me, but I read a book about them, and you're going to hear it. So now I know what a hedgehog does all winter. They don't live here, so we don't get to see them very much, but they go to sleep for the winter. They do not get a thicker coat. They don't know how to find their own food. So what would you say? They hibernate. Glue. Stick it down. So the hedgehog hibernates. The bird migrates. Let's go on and cut out our picture of the bear. Remember, if you have to stop the video to do your cutting, that's fine. Now, bears are tricky. Mommies and daddies all grew up, and I grew up hearing that bears hibernate. But you know what? The scientists have been studying bears, and they don't. If you got into a bear's den, you could wake them up. They're not hibernating. They're adjusting to winter a little bit differently because they do wake up. They get a thick coat. Their bodies adjust so they don't need as much food, but they truly are adjusting. They are adjusting. That's a new thing. New. I went to Beaver Brook. I don't know if any of you have ever been there, and that's what the scientists there told me, and I was so surprised. Well, let's cut out the deer. We have a lot of white-tailed deer in New Hampshire, and you know what? They are out all winter looking for food. It's not easy for them, but they're out all winter looking for food. In the spring, they're very, very hungry. So they find their own food in the winter, so do they hibernate, migrate, or adjust? They adjust. Anybody who's awake all winter is adjusting. Now, let's talk about these because I'm running out of time. And then you can finish it up on your own. The fox, what do you think? A fox is out all winter. It finds its own food, has a very thick coat, and it lives in its den. So a fox would adjust. What about the rabbit? Remember the hare in our stories? Yes, he was out looking for something to eat, wasn't he? Rabbits are out all winter. I have one that lives outside my house. He's so cute. They adjust. They adjust. A mouse, I'm trying to think about a mouse. I believe that a mouse just might hibernate. If they come into your home, it's a little different because then they're kept warm and they get some food. But mostly out in the wild, that's a tricky one. I do see mice running around, so I guess that they would be adjusting. I guess so. And the butterfly, we're going to pretend that's a monarch butterfly. And I talked to you about monarch butterflies, didn't I? Monarch butterflies cannot live here in the winter. They migrate. Now, there is one more picture there that we couldn't see very well. It's a whale. If you want to trace it and make it darker, you can. And remember, I told you about the whales. They would migrate too. Now, when you are done, I'm sorry, I'm really running out of time on my video. You will go, remember your last page had the snowflake. The next page, you will turn your book sideways and glue it right in. Okay? I know you got this, boys and girls. Hibernate, migrate, adjust. Animals are fascinating. Have a great day.